thrilled to be here and always flattered that you asked us to come back and help get you fired up for the upcoming Tiger football season. We are all members, or former members of the LSU Tiger Band, and we like to play music that you typically hear on the Tiger sidelines on game nights. The first tune we just played was called the Pre-Game Salute. Now we're going to do the original Hold That Tiger song. It's called Tiger Rag. This is Hey Fighting Tigers. In the middle section, we all stop and sing it. So we want to hear you singing out there. Hey Fighting Tigers.
Let's give one more round of applause to the British band, Tiger Rag. Now for the introduction of today's program, I'd like to call upon past President Greg Woods for the introduction.
Thank you, Todd. When Brian Kelly was hired at LSU in December of 2021, LSU announced that the search for LSU football's next championship coach is over. A native of Everett, Massachusetts, Coach Kelly has more victories than any coach in college football. In his 3 years at LSU, Kelly has won 29 games, including back-to-back 10-win seasons in 2022 and 23, to go along with 17 SEC victories. Recently, LSU added its third straight top 10 high school signing class to go along with the nation's #1 rated transfer portal class to solidify a roster that is poised for a spot in the college football playoffs in 2025. Under Kelly, the program has improved in all areas: the classroom, community, strength and conditioning, nutrition, as he has instilled the traits necessary to be a champion. LSU's 2024 roster had 39 players earn the SEC Academic Honor Roll status, and that is the most in school history. And much like Rotary, the Tigers are consistent participants in community service activities. Other coaching stops for Kelly include 13 seasons at Grand Valley State, 3 at Central Michigan, 4 at Cincinnati, and 12 at Notre Dame, where he became the school's winningest coach, moving past the legendary Newt Rockne for the top spot on the list. Coach Kelly's mission is very clear: graduating players and winning championships. Rotarians and guests, let's welcome today's speaker and fellow Rotarian, LSU head football coach, Brian Kelly.
I don't need a microphone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back here because I know when I get an opportunity to speak to our fellow Rotarians, it's football season. And that's an exciting part of my life and everybody that's here today following LSU athletics and following LSU football. I want to take you back 6 months, though. This process, every time that I stand in front of you, is ongoing. It's organic. It's every single day. But I take you back because 6 months ago is where we needed to do some things aggressively to continue to move our program forward. We've talked about and we've heard from Greg some of the off-field accomplishments in the classroom, in our community, how we represent LSU on a day-to-day basis. I will tell you, my longevity in this business, and going on over 31 years now, is because I'm much more interested in significance over success. And I understand we need to win every game. I get that. I'm covering that part right now. But when I say significance, I want to make an impact on the lives of the young men that are under my care and custody on a day-to-day basis. So it is a holistic approach to everything that we do. Now, we also want to win our first game. So, when we talk about this being a process of over 6 months, we need to address a couple things. The first one was the opener. And so, for the first time in my career, I made it a goal of our team. And goals for me are very simple. One, they have to be specific. If we're going to set goals, I want a specific goal. And that was to be 1-0 and beat Clemson. Number two, it's got to be attainable. And I knew what roster we were putting together. I know we're going on the road, but it's an attainable goal for our players. The third, it's got to be challenging. Any goal that you set has got to be worthwhile. It's got to have a challenge element to it. And this will be and has been the prime mover for our players over the past 6 months. And then finally, goals have to be self-driven. It's about you and how you do things on a day-to-day basis. And if you put all that together, that's why when we talk about what adjustments we were making in 2006 or 2005 into 2006, it's number one, let's put out a goal. For the first time, let's not talk about anything else but 1-0 against Clemson. And look, we've got paw prints all over the apparatuses in the weight room. We are putting up Clemson videos every day. And I know in many ideas that could be too much, but not this time. because our guys have a specific goal. It's attainable. It's a challenge, and they are driven individually to get that done. The next thing we needed to do is call on our incredible LSU supporters, and that was to help us raise money in the NIL era. And for many, that's not what you want, but it is the reality. So I started with a challenge gift of $1 million. My wife and I made a decision. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we will start that challenge. And you know what happened? We got 1,600 that contributed to that, 1,600 to the number of $3.3 million, because that's the kind of fan base we have. So what did that do? That helped us, as Greg talked about. We were able, through recruiting and through the generous donations of our fan base, to have the #1 transfer portal class in the country, as well as continue the development of the players that have been in our program that we've had to play, and get them to the point where they can be high-level contributors to this team as well. So where are we right now? On paper, this is the best roster that we will put out there since I've been here, and I'm excited about that. And it's not just about names. It's about individuals that are here through the transfer portal process to win a championship for LSU. They're not here for any other reason. As Greg mentioned, you know, our vision is very clear. It's to graduate champions at LSU. And that means everything to us. So what we do every single day is we help provide the traits necessary for our players to get that done. Like attention to detail, like having a great attitude, making sure that they have some grit on a day-to-day basis. All of those things, those traits, what I call traits of excellence, they're transferable. They take them with them when they leave here at LSU and become better fathers, husbands, business leaders, Rotarians. Oh, it was kind of a joke, but no, Rotarians. But certainly that, to me, is part of our process. And people talk about, well, what's your process? It is to build those traits in our players so they can deliver when their best is needed. You want attention to detail on 4th and goal. You want great habits when they're needed, when you're on the road and you're playing in Death Valley Junior, not the Death Valley. That's what you need. You need those traits on a day-to-day basis. And within that, it's our job to prepare our players totally. We need to prepare them mentally through mental performance training and understanding about mental health, how important mental health is today. Look, these young men are entering a new era of college football. Not only do they have the expectations to win national championships and get a degree, they're part of revenue sharing. And so they have those expectations on them. And of course, don't forget there's social media. If they were ever to drop a pass, they should be hung from the top of the scoreboard. So mental health is real. And we have to be able to help our players navigate through those things and build mental performance as well. We like to look at mental performance as being the weight room for the brain, where you strengthen your confidence and you strengthen your beliefs, and that mental health is the training room. There are days that you're hurting and you need that help, and being able to normalize those conversations so in fact we can help our players when they need that the most. But that's not it. They need the technical preparation and the tactical preparation, which allows us to coach and teach them on a day-to-day basis so they can go into Tiger Stadium Junior and be the best version of themselves because they trust their teaching. And they can just go play. And they don't have to think about it. And of course, the physical preparation. And physical preparation for them now is not just about weight training. It's about conditioning. It's about staying healthy and eating right and nutrition and making good decisions and good choices so they can be the best that next morning at 6 a.m. It's hard to eat cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza at 2 o'clock in the morning and get 3 hours sleep and be really good the next morning. Maybe you folks can, but they can't. And so, really, the physical preparation is all of those domains in one. And so, that's what we do. Starting in January, all the things that I've talked about, building all of those traits and the total preparation, that's what's been happening. So when they say coach is really confident about his team, it's because I see those things in action. Now, you have to go deliver and be your best when your best is needed, but this allows you to feel confident that you have the young men that will do that. And as I mentioned when I said this is the best roster, it wasn't just names on paper. It was observing these things happening organically since January. So that's why I'm bullish on this team. That's why I like where we are and where we're going. So when we finish this up, our players then have to create the right mindset about all this. And a mindset is just a pattern way of thinking. So how are they going to think? Because your thoughts affect your emotions, which affect your physiological responses or your performance. So we get our guys thinking the right way. This is LSU football, and LSU athletics is about being elite. It's about a standard, a Tiger standard. That is a high bar that we expect you to meet and exceed every single day. That's called accountability. And so we talk about accountability amongst our peers every single day. And we set that standard. I set that standard. That's my job as the head coach, is to create the culture and maintain it on a day-to-day basis. And it starts with the standards, just like in your home. What's acceptable? Those things that are important to you. And what's important to our guys is those traits that I talked about, those traits of excellence. Being on time, having good habits, having an attention to detail, having a great attitude, showing some grit. That's the most important thing for us when we talk about thinking the right way. So we're going to be demanding on our players because that standard is high at LSU. And that's why I love being here, because that standard has been set. So asking the question, when are we going to win a national championship, is not a question. It's just when we're going to win the national championship. Because we will. Because we have players, we have the standards, we have the support. We have 75,000 season ticket holders. Nobody has more in the entire country. That's how passionate this base is. And so when we look at all of those things together, it allows us to get a clearer picture of what the first game's going to look like. I'd get on a plane or a bus or a train, and I would go watch that game because it's going to be exciting. Because our players have set that as a goal, and a goal that is attainable. It's specific. It's challenging, and they are driven for it. So how is this season going to go? Well, you can see my excitement. And if I'm excited, you should be excited too. Because it's going to be an exciting time for us. There's no doubt. I want to do a couple of things here real quick. I want to acknowledge our Attorney General is here today. Liz Merle, thank you for being here. She has been incredible. And as we were kidding, I don't know that either of us, got into this business of where we are right now with NIL and revenue sharing, but it's on her desk, and she has been amazing in the way she's dealt with it and handling it for the state of Louisiana. So I want to thank you for all your work. Thank you very much. I want to get this out of the way. We heard one of our Tiger greats retired, Tyrann Mathieu. He's going to suit up for us against Clemson. We got him going right away. That's the first call I made. I'm a good recruiter. I'm a much better coach with great players. So we want to wish him all the best in his retirement, but he'll be certainly around here quite a bit. I want to take a moment to note some of our players that have just been exceptional in this process that I've just laid out to you. We have what is called PACT leaders. P-A-C-T is the acronym. But what's more important relative to the PACT? It's our player accountability and competition teams. Our entire program is broken down into 10 groups of between 10 and 12 on each team. And we have 10 PACT leaders. And they lead that group. Every board, every TV in our building shows the PACT teams and what they're competing for each day. It's classroom, what they're doing in the classroom. Were they late to a tutor's appointment? What they're doing in the community. And they're pushing for PACT points every single week. They get great benefits like preferred parking. I mean, who wouldn't want that here at LSU? I mean, that's like gold. Training room fast pass. If their team wins, they get to cut the line and get taped right away. Little things that we can handle within our own program, and it's prideful. Our guys see their names on these teams. But some of our incredible PACT leaders this year, I want to mention Garrett Nussmeier, Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins, to name a few, Bo Bordelon. Those guys have been unbelievable this year in leading these groups because they're holding them accountable to the standards that we've just talked about. And how important that is when your locker room is leading. And I don't have to be doing that. I set the culture, I maintain it, and then I let our players be accountable on a day-to-day basis. And that's pretty exciting to have your leaders being also your best players. And that's another dynamic that doesn't happen all the time. So those guys in particular, and we brought in some great transfers, Nick Anderson, Barry and Brown, Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, to name a few, are all here to win a championship. And they've done it at other places where they've competed for championships. So to bring them in, they've been outstanding along the way. I'll finish up in closing, right? We talked about what's significant to me over success. Success is defined by wins and money and fame. I'm not in it for that. If I was doing this job for over 32 years just for that, I would have been out of it a long time ago. I want to be significant in the lives of our players and significant in LSU football and what it's seen as. And it's going to be seen as a championship program that graduates its players and represents LSU in the manner that everyone here would be proud of. So, get ready for Clemson. It's going to be an exciting season. You're going to love the way this team plays. We're going to love the way that they represent LSU as well. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. I was reminded that we always do a Q&A. So if we got a few minutes here, we'll open it up to Q&A. Yes, sir.
Have you named team captains yet?
We have not yet. We have a great idea, clearly, as to who they're going to be, because they've been leading, right? Let them lead. The interesting thing in college football is that when the next year comes, that front row's gone. They've all graduated. The Will Campbells are gone. And so you have to be cultivating that leadership before you actually hand the mantle over.
Hey, Coach, who are your top pass receivers for Garrett Nussmeier?
Oh, my goodness. I think the depth at that position is outstanding. Aaron Anderson was an electric player for us last year. He returns. Chris Hilton, who came on at the end of the year, is healthy and strong, and he provides great speed, the ability to challenge any SEC backfield. Xavier Thomas is back, who had a nice year for us as well. Nick Anderson comes in from Oklahoma. Barian Brown, who leads the SEC all-time for kickoff returns for a touchdown, is going to be able to step into a role for us as well. So there's a number of receivers. The tight end position is Blake Sharp. He came in from Oklahoma, and he was their leading receiver at tight end, as well as Trey'Dez Green. So we think we have a lot of options there for Garrett. Got a lot of horse there. Yes.
Coach, with NIL being so fluid, I mean, it's year to year, multiple changes. You might even have a young man that might even be going to school, in high school, on your campus here, that is a high quality recruit. People all over the country want them. You invest a ton of money on the front end to be able to lure them because it's the market.
Yep.
Where are we with regard to multi-year kind of contractual arrangements that you don't just invest into one, a year later they take a better offer and move off? How do you handle that?
So let's just look at where we are today. We are in the era of revenue sharing, right? So that revenue sharing piece is, from a football only standpoint, is X. Above that, if you will, above the cap, is the NIL space. But those have to be deliverables. In other words, if we give X for NIL, those have to be deliverables on the other side. That's contractual. And so it's important that we have that ability to offer NIL to high school players, and we do here in the state of Louisiana, which gives us really a level playing field, if you will. But you have to be able to structure those NIL deals that they're not part of, well, if you start, it's not pay for play in NIL. Revenue sharing is what you get based upon where you stand in the program. As it relates to that, you can then get into a second year with revenue sharing and talk about, a third year. But you have to manage your own money when it comes to that piece, because that's under the cap. Over the cap, or the NIL piece that we're talking about, that has to be a lot cleaner. And I think we're looking at ways that whether it be an executive order from our president that would get maybe some policies put in place from regulatory operations that would oversee those things, or it becomes from a bill. We are big proponents of the SCORE Act that is hopefully coming out here soon, that will give us more guidelines and guardrails to NIL.
Thank you.
I know there was more than anybody really wanted, but
what's the hardest a player's made you laugh? In the off season, what's the hardest a player has made you laugh?
oh my goodness. The question was, in the off season, over these past 6 months, is there something that a player did that made you laugh the hardest? Do you think I don't laugh? Is that what you I know, but listen, when the camera's on me, that's my office. How do you look in your office? You go, whoa, that guy didn't even smile. Our guy, look, they're 18 to 21-year-olds. I laugh at them every single day in some fashion. I'm like, I remember you. Woo! We get great opportunities. I have them out at my house quite a bit. Pool parties, you get to see them interact. They're playing basketball, and you're like, you are not a basketball player. Thank God Coach McMahon does not have you. So we have some really light moments when it comes to those things. Couple more, and we'll let you get back to the big business. Yes, sir.
So I know earlier you were talking about character development of the players, and you were saying that you help them form new mindsets. And I was wondering, as far as character development, are you focusing more on creating new habits or breaking old bad ones?
It's a great question. I think it starts with establishing in recruiting who we want to fit in our culture, Like, look, all the guys that we recruit are going to have the skill. You know, I could ask you to put on a videotape of some of the guys, and you go, well, he's good. Get him. It doesn't take that much. What it takes is understanding the standards in the program, being transparent with that, so when you recruit them, they know what they're getting into. They know exactly who you are. And so if we feel like they have the skills and can fit the culture, we're going to offer them a job, if you will, right? We're going to say, come play for us at LSU. So I think that for me, what we like to start with is, here's the standards. Here's what we expect from you. We expect you early for everything. There are no excuses. This is how we do things. You're going to class. You're going to get a degree. It's not, well, you know, no. And so I think if you're clear and consistent, look, what I don't want, and I'm sure everybody's the same way in every business they're in, you don't want curveballs every day you walk into the office. And we don't give any curveballs. It is straight, clear communication on a day-to-day basis. That helps reset and establish a lot of good habits and then build on it. Yes, sir.
I know you mentioned about setting the standard, but what legacy are you trying to build with this team moving forward?
Like I said, for me, we're all in it for the same reasons. To develop our players to be the best versions of themselves. We want them to get a degree. We want them to develop spiritually. We want them to develop educationally. So that holistic development is why I do this. That motivates me every day. And along the way, we believe that because of that significance of what we're doing, we're going to have great success. So we don't talk a lot about those things. We set a goal and make sure it's tangible. We make sure it's challenging, right? And that's how we operate more so than anything else. And when you're involved in the lives of 18 to 21-year-olds, significance is more important than success. One more. We got time for one more.
Right here.
Yes.
Coach, I don't know if you give out a future Rotarian award on your team, but is there a player that is, you would say, the biggest difference maker in the community and all?
Yeah, we have a few that hit that note in terms of wanting to be involved in community service events, want to impact the lives of others. I could probably list a half dozen of them to you right now. Look, you know, there's special players that you get in my career over 30 plus years of doing this, and you know, Garrett Nussmeyer is a pretty special guy. He's a quarterback, and quarterbacks are seen as these ego-driven guys. He's here for one reason, to win a national championship for LSU. And that's how he lives his life. Like, he's other-centered. He's thinking of others all the time. So when your quarterback and your leader is that kind of guy, you can go into the seat and feel, you know what? We're in pretty good hands tonight. Let's go play. Let's make sure we got a couple of breaks, go our way, you know, and call it a day. Thanks again. Great to be here again. And go Tigers. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Love to. I love your background.
I'll tell you, I'm like, man, I'll tell you what, you put a second stand as a CEO